Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Just send out a couple more reminders that I am live. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Aziz. Good morning, Carmen. Thank you for jumping on early this Tuesday morning. How's your Tuesday going? Good morning. Good morning. Well, you all probably see that I am one queen short this morning. Mr. Ceateetra is not feeling well, so definitely keep her in your prayers, everyone. We want to make sure our Cebu is back at 100% so she doesn't miss any more tips and tea, because we love having her here. She comes with some amazing gems that we can share with our tips and tea live audience. So definitely keep her in your prayers, and just thank you all again for jumping on this morning. But I'm not going to slow anything down. I'm actually going to jump right into it, just because I'm rocking solo this morning. So I just want to say thank you again, everyone. And just good morning for those who's just tuning in. Just want to say thank you, kings and queens, and our entrepreneurs out there and our future business owners. We're back for another Tips and Tea Live, where we just like to come together and just share what we've experienced on this journey that we call entrepreneurship. We focus on faith, family, and finances, and we sprinkle a little bit of fun in there as well, too. So we appreciate everyone who tunes in, everyone who also shares with us, some things that they've been through and what's helped them in their businesses and just in their daily lives. So shout out to our Tips and Tea live audience. Last week we talked about just going from LLC to legacy, right? We're celebrating Black Business Month, but we're celebrating all the Black businesses out there. And we just wanted to talk about how we're building up our foundation. We want to talk about today is just what comes next with that, right? How do you start building credit in your business name? Where should you consider banking, right? And how do you position your business so that you're not constantly reaching into your personal accounts every time you need something for your business? So we're talking about fund it, how to grow it, how to scale it. And before we jump into it, I just want to check in with our audience here. Type owner in the chat if you already have a business. Where's all our business owners here? And then if you haven't quite got started yet, you can type starting if you're thinking about starting one, and type credit if you already have an LLC, but you're trying to figure out what's next, right? How to build up that business credit. So owner, if you already have a business, starting, if you're thinking about starting one, and then credit, if you already have an LLC, but you're trying to figure out how to build business credit. You can type all three. If you already have one, you start a new one, and you want to build your business credit. If you all three, you can type that too. Good morning, Miss Michelle Ramos. How you doing, Queen? Good morning, Tanisha. Good morning, good morning. Good seeing y'all in the chat this morning. All right. I see some credits coming in. That's right. We got to build up that business credit. That's a part of the foundation, right? So we're going to jump into it. Now, before we kind of step into the conversation and somebody says, I got my LLC, where's my 50,000? How many people have run into that? You started your LLC and you just want to go straight into funding. You need to get about 10 to 50K just to get the ball rolling. But we're going to stop right here. And we're just going to, help people get a better understanding what it looks like when you first set up your LLC. So again, for those who are thinking just because you got your LLC and you can go straight into funding, there's a couple steps that happen along the way. So an LLC is definitely not a magic funding ticket. If you are getting an EIN, that doesn't not automatically guarantee that you're going to build business credit as soon as you get the EIN. And open a business bank account doesn't make a lender automatically want to hand you money. So we have to work on building your business profile. So thinking about it like it's like you're building a house, right? Your LLC is the land, right? The EIN is a part of the foundation, and your bank relationship is another piece. So your credit accounts are literally bricks, and your payment history helps hold everything together. So today we're going to show you how to build the whole house. Right, and we're going into a part 2 of this LLC, the legacy, where we're growing it and we're scaling it and we're building that legacy. Good morning, welcome in. For those who just tuning in, we're doing a part 2. We're doing a part 2 from last week. We talked about LLC legacy. We talked about the foundational things, and now we're diving a little bit into more of what do we do after we get the LLC, we get the EIN, right? How do we build business credit? And we want to also highlight a couple of Black-owned businesses when it comes to the funding side as well. So that's what we're diving into this morning. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Oh, did I freeze? There it goes. Okay, so jumping into some coin tips this morning. So one of the first things we want you to do is separate the money. If you have a business, that shouldn't automatically go into the same account as your personal account. So you want to make sure you separate that. So if you have a personal checking account and you start a new LLC, let's make sure that you also set up a separate business account. So if you're buying groceries, you're paying for Netflix, you ordering DoorDash, that shouldn't all be coming out of the same account as your personal account. You want to make sure you have a separate business account. Your business literally needs its own paper trail. If the money comes in, the business expenses go out, taxes, get tracked, and your books will stay clean. So this is helping you not to commingle your funds and not making you more susceptible to liability on your personal finances. And eventually, when you do go for funding and a lender is trying to give your company 20,000, 50K, 100K, you want financial records that's going to actually look like a business, right? You don't want to have them to try to weed through all your personal expenses versus what you are supposed to be setting up for your business. So let's do a quick check-in. For all our business owners out there, do you have a separate business bank account? Type yes in the chat if you do, because I'm being nosy. I want to know. Drop it in the chat if you're a business owner and you've already set up your separate personal business banking account. Go a little further in too. So, maybe drop what state you're from and what bank you use. Those some good gems for people to kind of look into as well. Do you like your bank? Do you like your business account features? That's also a really good question. So when we first got started, I'll just throw it out there as well. I'm from Illinois, Chicago land area. We lived in the suburbs. Basically, we set up our account through Bank of America. Got us started. When we first started with Bank of America, they were doing no maintenance fees, no minimum balance requirements. It was a free business checking account, right? They threw in the savings feature. They would give you business checks. They threw that in. They also allowed you to apply for business credit cards right away, right? Where you can do one credit pool and you can get multiple credit accounts set up through them. So that was one of the really great features when we first got started and opened up our business account. But that was years ago. Now they've kind of changed things around with Bank of America and they don't necessarily offer all those features anymore. I think right now they do like 1 year introductory where you don't pay, they don't require any minimum balance requirements or a certain amount of transactions to happen and you don't pay any maintenance fees. But after that first year, if you're not meeting a minimum requirement, then they're charging you like a $12 a month fee or something like that. You have to double check. Don't quote me on it, but that's what it was the last time I kind of looked into it. So there are other options out there. Online banks like Bluevine, where you don't pay any fees. They also have options where you can start to build business credit as well. You get connected with NAV. So there's a lot of different options out there that you can look into. All right, let's see here. So we have Tanisha here. She says, no, I don't. I was told you need a minimum of $500 to open. So Tanisha, there are some other banks out there. Thank you for sharing that, Queen. There's some banks out there. If you're part of a credit union, they also have some options. So sometimes one of the first things I kind of recommend for people, who are you currently banking with? Do you have Chase? Do you have Bank of America? Do you have Navy Federal? Look into those banks to see if you have, if they have a business banking account option for you. And if they do, that's a great option to kind of go with because you've already set up a relationship with them, right? So when you're getting ready to go for funding, you've already established a relationship with them, a good history. I hope, fingers crossed, it was a good history. So they're more likely to work with you and maybe give you some better terms and interest rates on your accounts since you've already had a personal account with them. So on the business side, if you start with them and you start running your business through their banking system, they kind of already see on the personal side, well, this person is responsible. They don't have any overdraft fees, right? They keep a good amount of money in their accounts. So when you have that going on the business side, then you can get to the funding part, the credit building part, a lot quicker with them. Right? They might offer you a waive some of those fees since you've already established a relationship with them on the personal side. So there's definitely some options out there, Tanisha, that you can look into. Like I mentioned before, Bank of America has a 1 year free where they don't charge you any maintenance fees, minimum balance requirements, not to the following year. You can look into that account. Chase also has a good starter account where you can start building business credit right away with them. They do it's like a Chase Inc. card, I believe, that you can get set up with once you start the business account with them. Sometimes you don't even have to start the business account with them to start the business credit building part. Also like PNC Bank and Truist Bank as well. All right, I see Carmen here. Carmen says, I do, but I have a direct deposit going in and not business related. Okay, Carmen, we need to clean that up. All right, we need to make sure that you're also separating your personal and your business. So what happens when you don't separate those two, right? If there's an audit that happens for whatever reason, now you might end up getting penalties and doubly taxed, right, by commingling those funds. Or if something was to happen in your business and somebody wants to sue you because you're commingling funds, now your personal assets are liabilities to what's going on in your business. So technically, since you're now mixing the two funds together, if someone wants to sue your business, now your savings account, your 401k, your retirement plans, the equity in your house is now becoming a part of that liability because you're mixing those two together. There's no separation. Okay. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Let's look into making sure we keep the two accounts separate. Right? Even if you're a sole proprietor, right, and you don't quite have an LLC with an EIN account, there's some banks out there that do allow you to open like sole proprietor accounts. Like we have an account just for our rental properties that can be operated under a sole prop, right? You can name it whatever you want to name it. I put like Shabazz Rentals or something on there for that account. So I have a personal checking and savings. I have an account just for the rental properties. And then I have my business account for my LLC. Yeah, I see here, Miss Teresa says, do you need the business established as an LLC to qualify for a business account? Oh, see, we were just right on the same page. So, Miss Teresa, no, you don't. You can open up a sole prop account. So it's a sole proprietorship account when you're just getting started and you may not have set up an LLC yet and started EIN. Some banks offer that feature where you can open up an account for your sole proprietorship account. Right? I know Bank of America does it, Chase, US Bank does it as well, some of the bigger banks. That's a good question. Thank you, Queen, for sharing that. All right, all right. Thank you, everyone. So I also want to go in and highlight, because it's Black Business Month, right? I want to highlight some Black-owned banks, right? We might not even thought about before. So, where you bank does matter too. And there's a couple banks out there where these are institutions that we want to highlight because they do have actual products for business owners. So examples of business type products are business checking, they have business savings accounts, they have lending options for businesses, merchant services, that helps you to process credit card payments from your clients, right? Most people are paying by credit card nowadays. You don't run across too many people that's still paying cash. They also have cash management services, right? Tracking your spending, budgeting tools, things that's going to help you separate your expenses when it comes to tax time. Business credit cards as well to help you build up business credit. This is what you want to start looking at, and don't just ask, is this a Black-owned business? You want to just also make sure that the bank offers products that can grow with your business. So one of those banks is Liberty Bank and Trust, right? They have business checking, business savings, the credit cards, lines of credit. They also have equipment financing as well too. Commercial real estate lending and options for SBA lending too. So if you don't need a loan today, but you want to build a relationship today, this is a good option to put you in a stronger position when you do need access to that capital. Another bank is One United Bank. Another name many people might actually recognize because of the focus on serving the Black communities and helping close the racial wealth gap. So if you're looking into any bank, you want to make sure you're researching the business account options, right? Do they offer a free business checking option without me having to do a direct deposit or have a minimum amount of transactions per month? What fees are associated with this if they do charge, right? What are the minimum balance requirements? Do they give me online access? Can I jump on my phone and check my balances? What type of lending products do they have when I am ready for funding? And then do they have business credit building products? So another bank that you can also look into is Carver Federal Savings Bank. They've had a long history of serving their communities that historically didn't always have equal access to financial services. So you just don't want to pick only a Black-owned bank. I just want to remind everybody of this. You want to pick a bank that also has a national presence if possible so that you can be anywhere and be able to access your funds. You want to pick financial relationships based on where your business is trying to go. So sometimes it also means having more than one banking relationship, right? You can have multiple business bank accounts. All your money does not have to be in one place. So if you are currently banking with a black owned bank or credit union, go ahead and drop those names here in the comments. We nosy. We like to share information. We don't want to gatekeep because you may end up introducing someone to an institution they didn't even know existed. All right, welcome in, welcome in. For those who are just joining us as well, we just want to share that, we're doing a part 2 from last week from the LLCs, LLC to Legacy. This week we're talking about still LLCs, right? Because it's Black Business Month. But we're throwing in some information on, do you have your business bank account set up, right? Did you start the LLC? Did you get the EIN? Do you have the business bank account? And what's the next steps to building business credit and getting access to some funding? So that's what we're talking about today. We had some great gems in the chat. Carmen asks, is Blue Vine a good bank? It may vary, Carmen, just depending on what your needs are when it comes to banking. So they're an online bank. They don't have a physical location, but by not having a physical location, they give you a lot of great options as far as what you're saving on not having to pay certain fees for having this business account. And then they do have some really great business credit building tools that you can get started with right away as a new account holder. So they're good in that sense. But depending on what you're looking to do with your business account, it's going to depend. So you can definitely message me directly. We can set up a consultation call and we can go through a couple of different options to see what direction you want to go within your business and then see what bank matches where you're at for right now. Because again, everyone, you don't have to have just one business banking relationship, and your business needs might change as your business grows, right? Eventually, you might need to move into a bigger bank that has more of an international presence, right? Where you can, if you're traveling a lot, you want to make sure, because for us, we want to make sure we have banks that's not going to charge us international transaction fees because we're traveling back and forth from the US to down to Mexico, right? While we're doing our business. If you're more stateside and you're looking to build up more locally, right? And you have an actual store location and you're giving back to the community, you're serving more so within your community, you might want to look into a credit union because they favor more so locally owned businesses and they have more funding options for those businesses that are more local to the neighborhood. All right. Thank you for asking that question, Carmen. That was a great question. All right, so, let's build some business credit. But how do we start building business credit? So one of the products that you can look into is NAV Prime Build. It's designed to help eligible businesses build credit history while they're reporting their trade lines. So again, it's NAV, N-A-V, Build, right? NAV Build. So they have an option where NAV is just monitoring your credit. You can actually check your business credit scores for free. They look at your Dun & Bradstreet number. They look at Equifax Business and Experian Business. Those are the three major bureaus that report on your business credit. So if you want to also utilize their credit building feature, they have NAV Prime Build, where you can also tap that into what you're building, and it's going to report on your trade line so to help boost your scores even quicker. And it's not just reporting random things. So when you're building business credit, we also want to make sure we're not buying random things that we see somebody talking about on social media. You want to make sure it's something that can really link to like a net 30 account. So we want to look at products that clearly explain their reporting. And the word reporting also matters, everyone. So also when you're selecting these accounts to build business credit, let's make sure it's also reporting to your business credit. Because some of these accounts, just because you're opening up in your business name, don't necessarily mean it's reporting to those business credit bureaus. They might just be reporting to your personal credit, especially if you just signed for it personally and did like a personal guarantee. All right, you have to realize that sometimes paying a bill doesn't automatically mean that's reporting. So you ask these questions when you're adding these trade lines. I do like eCredible. It's eCredible, Ecredable. It's a business lip account where if you're paying like utility bills, internet subscriptions and things like that, these are expenses that your business are covering, but you can now start building payment history behind this under your business name. So this account reports that to those business credit bureaus. I have another question in the chat. Does SoFi offer business accounts? Right now, they don't have a business bank account feature for SoFi. They do have business credit cards, though, right? And loans that your business can take out. So they have some business credit building products. But as of right now, I haven't seen any business banking features as of yet. Thank you for Teresa for asking that question. Make sure I'm not missing any questions here in the chat. And right now, the SoFi is just offering a personal checking and high yield savings option. Okay. All right. So just jumping back into eCredible as a business trade line building account. You want to look into and see, are those payments being reported when you're looking at your utilities, that you're setting up certain business trade lines, and you want to make sure that money that you're spending, you want to make sure it's in a legitimate way to get the credit for that in a positive payment history. I see a lot of people also recommending Credit Strong for Business. Credit Strong for Business offers business credit builder accounts designed to establish payment history under your business EIN number. And this is where, you can look into the strategy of it all. We're not just telling you to go out and open up a bunch of different accounts, right, to start building business credit. We want you to open up accounts that make sense for your business. So if you're looking to qualify for these types of accounts that make sense for your business, you want to also make sure you're managing responsibly, because you can open up accounts, but if you don't actually use them, then it's also not building business credit. Okay, and then there are some business credit cards out there that you can also look into that can help you with building your business credit. When you're looking at the business credit card, you want to make sure before you open any of them, what is they reporting? What are they reporting to? Because some of them only report to certain bureaus. Some of them don't report to any business credit accounts. When we first opened one of our business Bank of America cards, found out it wasn't reporting to any of the business credit builder accounts, right? You do have to let them know if you have a Dun & Bradstreet number account. When you're opening up the account, you want to link that to it. They don't automatically just start reporting to some of those bureaus like they do on the personal side. So that's another thing to kind of note as well. So when you open up a business credit account and you have a Dun & Bradstreet number that's going to report on your paydex score, you have to tell that credit account that you have that number and then link it to your paydex scores. Okay, so again, just a reminder, the big three are Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business. Okay, let me see if I have any more questions in the chat. Okay, how many people knew that when you open up a business credit account, you should ask which credit bureaus do you report to? Type yes in the chat if you already knew it. If you already knew that, type it in the chat. Let me check YouTube and see if there's any questions over there, because I think it is not pulling from YouTube. Okay. I also want to see if I can share my screen here and pull up some steps that you can look into when you're building the business and see if it'll work today. So if you want to build the foundation of your business, one of the things that you can look into is business entity, right? Starting the LLC, right? If you're ready for that step, right? You've been a sole proprietorship for a while when you were operating under your own name. Now you're starting to see some revenue, or you just getting yourself ready where you want to eventually get funding for your business. So you want to be able to do that and you want to set up an LLC, right? So you want to get the business entity, whether that's an LLC, corporation, non for profit, get an EIN number. That's step number two. Um, Essentially, when you want to go for funding, some lenders, if you're going after big funding amounts, like over 100K, they want to see that you have a business address for your business that you can link it to, a business phone number, a professional business email address and a domain. And if your business requires certain licenses, making sure you have that already in place. These are things you want to make sure you establish, especially if you're going after larger amounts of funding. If you're just getting started and you're currently building it up, you don't have to have these things right away. But essentially, this is where you want to get to. You want to also make sure you separate your money. Have a business checking account, business savings, bookkeeping features, right? There's QuickBooks out there. There's some other options that's going to track all the expenses you have going out for your business, the income that you have coming in. So visually you can see, well, am I operating at a loss or am I operating at a profit? And when it comes time to do your taxes at the end of the year, it makes it a lot easier on you and a lot easier on your tax preparer to file your business taxes at the end of the year. You also want to make sure that you are setting up your business credit profiles, right? Do you know which companies that are reporting to Dun& Bradstreet, Experian Business, Equifax Business, and add accounts that report to those, and make sure you use your credit responsibly, right? Don't just open accounts just to say that you have them. You want to, if you do open them and you do use them, you want to pay early or pay on time. So now you're reporting positive payment history and monitor what's going on with your credit, right? The NAB has a free credit monitoring system that you can set up for a free trial to see what's going on with your business credit. And then you also can then graduate once you have all these things established. Now you can graduate into getting the funding, right? Get the starter accounts, get the revolving lines of credit, the business credit cards, the lines of credit through your bank. And then you can move into larger funding opportunities. Get the SBA Express loans or commercial real estate loans. So what step is everyone on? Are you setting up the business? Number two, are you building business banking? Number three, building business credit. Four, looking for funding. Or five, you think, are you ready? Are you ready to scale? Are you ready to go after funding? Tanisha wants me to repeat the question. Oh, the question was, Tanisha, did you know when you're applying for business credit under your business name, did you know to ask that credit account company, well, which bureaus do you report to? Right? That's a good question to ask when you're setting up business credit cards and you're trying to build your business credit. Seeing if the credit card company or the business credit account that you're setting up, if it actually reports, for one, to your business credit profile. And if they do report, which credit bureaus do they report to? Do they report to all three, right? Do they just report to Equifax Business? So that's a good question that you can ask when you're setting up your business accounts. Okay, and then we have another question in the chat. Let me see if I can click it. There we go. So Teresa asks, what is the average business income do you suggest needed to establish business accounts and to apply for business funding? It's a good question, Teresa. It really depends on the lender, right? Of what, and then what you're looking for. What type of funding are you looking for? Are you looking just to get a line of credit for a business, business credit cards where you can just get a quick 10 to 20,000 in credit that you can use to start building up your business? Are you looking to get a term loan for your business? It's kind of a broad question. So it really depends on what type of funding that you're looking for. And then it's going to depend on the lender of what their minimum requirements is, because it will vary depending on which lender that you're going with. But for a brand new startup, you can typically, even if you have $0, right, you just getting started, brand new LLC, you have no time in business, no revenue coming in as of yet. We do have, actually through the company that we partner with, Nove, they have options with different lenders where they can do business startup funding where you don't have to have those requirements. So $0, you have $0 and get qualified for some business startup funding. Okay. If you're looking for something where it's more like an SBA type of loan, they typically want you to have at least 2 years in business and be generating at least 15 to 20K in monthly revenue to get some of the better terms with those SBA Express loans. But there's also term loans out there that you can get where you can have 5K in revenue. So it's going to depend on the lender and then what type of funding that you're looking to get into. But we can definitely assist with finding some funding. A great question, Teresa. Thank you for jumping in and asking that question. So just want to see, I'm going to check the chat here to see if we have any more questions. Now, to note, everyone, if you are a startup business, you just got started, it's a brand new LLC, if they're not requiring any time in business and no minimum monthly revenue yet, what they're going to look at is you as the business owner, and they're going to look at your credit history. All right. You're going to have to personally guarantee that loan because the business doesn't have anything going for it yet. It's a brand new baby, right? You're the parent. They want to see if the business can't pay back this loan, will you as the parent step in and make sure that the bills get paid? So they will look at your personal credit history to be able to qualify the business for that particular funding loan, right? A lot of different lenders, they want you to have at least a 680 when it comes to the personal credit. And they want to see that you've established, right, some credit history for yourself so that you don't have a high utilization record, meaning you're keeping your credit limits balances lower, that you don't have a bunch of different, okay. So, and you don't have, you're not in the negative, right? You're not overspending on your credit accounts and you're paying your bills on time. So these are some key things to kind of look at if you're looking to apply for business under your brand new business and get funding. They will look at your personal credit history. Now, thank you, Teresa, for asking that question. Appreciate you, Queen. So sometimes we also have to realize that credit is a tool and not just a goal. So, what's the point of building up the credit? We're not just collecting credit cards, right? Like they're Pokemon cards. My brother used to play with Pokemon cards when he was little. That's why that came up. But, check into what your business actually needs. Does your business need inventory? Does it need equipment? Do you need help with marketing? Right? What's our weakness that we're personally trying to take on? Maybe that's where we invest in to help our business grow and scale even faster. Do you need funding and able to help bring on more employees to help you with your growth? You need a business vehicle, commercial space, another location. So why are you building a business credit? There has to be like a why behind it. Are you trying to get funding ready because you want to buy investment properties under your business name? What's the why behind building up this business credit and trying to get funding? What's the goal behind it? Okay, so let me double check here as well. So if you don't know where to start, right, that's where we come in and we help you with that guidance, right? We ask those questions to help point you in the right direction and see where you want to be when it comes to building credit and then getting access to that funding. So if you have not yet started your business, you're thinking about getting it going, we do have an option where we help you set up your LLC for free. right? You just pay your state filing fee, and we're going to help navigate you through that process. So as you're filling out this application, all these questions come up, and you might not be too sure how to answer those questions. That's what we're here for. We're also going to make sure that when you're setting up the right way so you're not getting a red flag later on down the line when you're ready to go get the funding. And if you need help with business credit building, and either you've already started your business or you just at the beginning stages with building your credit profile, we do have some options here that's you don't have to guess through. You don't have to guess where to start. Our team is going to work with you one-on-one to help you through each and every step of building your business credit. So if you started it and you're still lost and you don't know what's next, or if you're even doing it right, we have a business credit building profile program here um, through Nove that we can assist you with. And any one of our Nove family members, myself, Ceateetra Booker, anyone from our heavy hitter family, we can help you with these next steps. And then if you need access to the funding, so you got the LLC, you built up the business credit, or you're just getting started and you still need some funding options, but you have a good personal credit profile, we have options for you as well. So all our options when it comes to business funding through who we partner with, there's no application fee. We do initial soft pull on credit so it doesn't hurt your scores to see what you can get qualified for. And then again, of course, I want to mention startup options are available. And then for our homeowners out there, we do have HELOC options as well, whether it's on the personal side or you want to pull HELOC funding under your business name. All right, all right. And I see another question just popped up in the chat. And for those who are getting denied because of credit, we do have our personal credit support that's going to help you with disputing negative items on your credit and then rebuilding your credit profile as well. We do have two options when it comes to credit, depending on how hands-on you want to be. If you want to learn through the process, we have a DIY system that's AI powered that's going to help you learn about it, grow it, and maintain it. And then we have a done for you system for those who just don't have the time to do a deep dive into their credit. So please also, everyone, please just don't watch this live and start applying for 15 things today. You want to have a strategy when it comes to credit building. So message us first. If you need some guidance, we're definitely going to help you. And then if you need to know what's next in your business, you can literally comment business in the chat or just DM us business, and then we'll help get you connected to those resources. I see another question that popped up. Teresa says, I just had to invest in a new laptop for my business. Maybe I should have applied for business funding. Yes, I need your assistance. All right, Queen. Absolutely. Thank you for dropping that in the chat. So sometimes we come across this a lot, right? What if you bought a laptop under your personal credit, right? Depending on how you have your LLC set up. So if you have your LLC or if you have a sole prop, you can still claim that as a business expense, right? Because at the end of the year, you have to, when you get with your accountant or your tax preparer, bring those receipts. You bought this under your personal name, under your personal credit, but this was actually for business. They can reclassify that expense to under your business account. That way you can now write that off and get more of a deduction, tax deduction on your taxes for that particular business expense item. So it's okay if you did buy that under your personal name. You can still reclassify the expense and move it over to your business. Great question, Miss Teresa Smith. Thank you for dropping that in the chat. Yes, y'all. I had on my tax preparer hat for a number of years, and I had to jump back into it this year. So, yeah, get with your tax preparer if you want more of a tax strategy. We do have resources here through Nove as well that we can assist with on that end. You're welcome, Queen. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, wow, it's been 45 minutes already. Everyone, I thought this was going to be a quick one because I'm like, I'm not going to have that much to say today. But thank you all for engaging and dropping gems in the chat and just sharing information because, you know, these are things that everyone has questions on and it's good to know. So thank you all for, you know, also contributing to the live this morning. And I'm going to start to wrap things up here and just, you know, tell everybody, you know, I got to drop in this little grown folks disclaimer out here. We're giving examples of banks, financial products, business credit building that's available in the marketplace. We are not endorsing or guaranteeing any specific bank, lender, credit product, or company, right? I can't put the guarantee behind it. I don't work for those companies, but these are just, testimonials, things that we've used, other people that have recommended certain banks and products and things as such. Um, when it comes down to products, pricing, qualifications, interest rates, these things are subject to change on a regular basis. So please do your due diligence. Please research, because what's available today may not be what's available tomorrow for a lot of these different banking institutions and lenders. So make sure when you're opening up any particular accounts, um, just what we talked about today does not guarantee that's what's going to be available when you go open an account. Still have your list of questions to make sure you're getting what you actually want when you're setting up these accounts with these lenders. All right, do your research, double check the terms and conditions. We got to read. Even if you want to take the terms and conditions, copy it, paste it into AI, and tell AI to give you a summary, and ask your questions to AI to see if it can pick up any of the things from the terms and conditions to break it down even better for you. You can do that too, right? You can have AI read a contract and help it break it down more into layman's terms for you so you can get a better understanding. But we got to read it. We got to read it because there's no excuses anymore, right? We grown up. I got on my grown woman hat today. But thank you again, everybody. We just want to make sure everyone chooses products that make sense for you individually or for you that make sense as a business, because we don't want to put you in any bad financial situations. Yes, you're welcome, Queen. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, of course, Cebu is not here, and she usually does our affirmations. I'm going to do my best, you all. But, Cebu is our affirmation queen. So, repeat after me. We're going to jump into our business affirmations today. So, my business is built on a strong foundation, right? I am becoming a wise steward of my business money. I make financial decisions with wisdom and not desperation. My business is open to growth, access, and opportunity. I am building something bigger than me. I'm definitely building something bigger than me. I am creating income, impact, and legacy. And then we're going to say it like we mean it on this last one. My business will not just survive, my business will thrive. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. My business will not just survive, my business will thrive. I'm going to say amen to that, because I'm definitely yes. Yes. So, kings and queens, I just want you all to remember that the LLC is just the beginning. This is just the first step, right? We're building a business that is bankable. We're building a business that is fundable, and we're building a business that's going to be profitable for our legacy. So be intentional about where you bank, how you build credit, and how you get access to the money, right? We want some money solutions. So if you need help with your LLC setup or building personal credit, getting funding, you can DM us directly or just comment business in the chat. And thank you for hanging out with me. I was solo dolo today. So thank you all for, hanging in there for the whole live. I definitely appreciate you all for sticking with me. So keep building, keep growing, and making sure you build this legacy the right way. And I will see you all next Tuesday. Perfectly, Miss Cebu will be back because I definitely miss her, but she is not here. So see you all next week, everyone. Love you all. Many blessings. Many, many blessings.